Hi friends, welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. Today we are doing a really fun project that I've been dying to do. I was going to do it this morning when it was cooler and not quite so sunny, but then it started to sprinkle and I was really thinking I was going to have to wait a few more days, but the rain let off. It looks like it's going to be raining. It says this afternoon, like around 5 or so, but right now the skies are pretty clear, but we are going to harvest the garlic. I'm so excited to get this out of the ground to see how big these bulbs are and to get something else planted in this space, because right now I'm really wanting to plant corn here to take over the space. Corn takes about 75 days or so to mature, and I have about 120 days left, give or take, of my season, my growing season. My first frost for my area is, I think it was October 21st. So that could either be a little bit ahead or a little bit after. It just kind of depends on what the weather's feeling like during that season. But I want to get this stuff harvested. It is beyond ready. I'm gonna get it hung up in my basement. I believe I have like some clotheslines down there, so I think I'm gonna hang it up down there. So let's start pulling some garlic and see what we got. So I would like to add that the most ideal time to harvest your garlic would be 3 to 4 days after a rain, just because when you're storing these, you want them to have the least amount of moisture on them so that they don't mold or mildew on you, which that'd be really sad. So I'm going to go ahead and just, hopefully my snake friend is not hiding in here doing a jump scare, but I'm gonna go ahead and just pull one and see what the moisture level is on that bulb, and hopefully we can harvest them all today. If not, I'll wait. I'll be a little more patient, but I really want to get things turned over. The garlics are a little more wet than I would like, but I think they're going to be still good enough to harvest today, because they're not sopping wet. I'm probably going to put these guys, well, I'm going to put them in my basement, which is cool, dark, and I'm going to add a fan on them. That fan is going to help them dry out a little faster, and I'm going to make sure that they're hung upside down so that all the moisture that is in the stalk goes down. I am going to trim the roots and just leave those in the bed to compost in place. And sorry, I have seen other people that will go ahead and peel the first layer of like this skin off so that this thing is clean. So I have one that is peeled and clean, and then I have one that still has dirt. I think I'm gonna leave them as is, and when I go to like actually put these away, I'll go ahead and skin off the dirty outer layer. And I get to use my giant harvesting basket, which my friend Sarah gave me, so thank you, Sarah. I'm so excited to get to use this. This thing is massive, and I can't wait to see it filled with garlic. I just got a ton of garlic. My basket is completely full. My only thing is that not all of them are giant garlic heads. I do have a few that are a really good size, but a lot of them are pretty, well, not a lot of them. Like a third of them are smaller than I would like. So the goal, what the frick is that? The goal, sorry, there was a bug. The goal is to go ahead and next season or in this fall, plant the largest cloves that I possibly can, so that the garlic harvest next season will be even bigger. So all of this garlic is not going to be for, like, I'm not going to use all of this, or, right, I'm not going to use it all. Well, consume. I'm going to use some of it to consume and to cook into dinners and lunches and all of the good stuff. But some of it is going to be saved for seed for this fall. If I have to buy some, I will buy some. If I don't, that would be great, because garlic can be kind of pricey, depending on where you source from. So I'm gonna get these guys inside. They need to be hung up to dry, and then we'll get this bed prepped for planting out the corn. I have a good portion of my garlic hung up on my clothesline in my basement. I'm gonna grab a cardboard box, which I have tons of. Yeah. And I'm basically going to lay this guy down in a part of my basement that does not get wet, as well as does not have traffic through it. So, mind my basement mess. This is where I keep my stuff. So, got a cardboard box laid out. I'm gonna take the remaining garlic, just because I kind of want to keep a little doorway because my dryer's on the other side of this. And I'm gonna take this garlic and lay it out flat so that it can dry on the ground. So I've got a lot of elephant garlic, a couple of those big guys. Some of them came off the stem, because the stem is a little different. They're more like onions than they are garlic. They do have a slight garlicky flavor, but these guys get a lot larger. All right, so my phone died while I was explaining to you something in the basement. But I went ahead and fertilized this garlic bed with some worm castings, as well as just a 2-2-2 organic fertilizer. And then I just raked that in. I also peeled back all of my mulch so I could get these guys plopped in. So I'm gonna plant all of this corn. A lot of it got picked apart by the squirrels because they're little butt munches, and they decided that it was a tasty treat. So I have way less than I started, but I did start more than I was anticipating on using, which I guess is why I did that, because I knew the squirrels were gonna come in and take a few for themselves. So my plan of action for this bed is I think I'm gonna be planting these about 6 inches apart from each other, similar to the garlic, and hopefully this fills it out completely. I really want a good harvest on corn this year. I think that would be really incredible. We'll see what happens though. I may get a few, and some of them might not even be like full cobs of corn. So we'll get some experience in this season and see what happens. Don't tell me how, but somehow the squirrels knew exactly how much corn they could eat, and me still have exactly enough corn to plug in a hole in every spot of this garden, which is just insane. I think before it rains, I'm going to plug in some of my black beans. It's a mistake I made with my first round of Three Sisters crop, which is right here, is that I planted the corn and the beans at the exact same time, and so the beans have grown faster than the corn has. So some of the corn is a little more stunted, some of it is doing okay, some of it is being drowned out by the squash. So it's a learning curve. So if you're gonna do the Three Sisters planting, I would highly recommend planting corn first, and then your beans and your squash. Maybe like a few weeks ahead of time, plant your corn and then plant your beans and your squash. That way your corn can get a little more established and give your beans a little more something to climb on, because right now my beans are just like searching for anything and everything to climb on. I went ahead and I put in a little, whatever those hooks are called, garden hook, for like a hanging basket, and the beans have attached itself to that. A horsefly. Do you guys see that dude? He is chilling. I think it looks like a horsefly from back here. He is big chilling on my squash. I'm gonna plant some black beans, which I have been wanting to can up. I have a big jar of them in my house. I just haven't canned them yet. I'm still getting my feet wet with pressure canning. Last night I did a batch of carrots that I had harvested not too long ago, and I want to go ahead and actually be able to pressure can beans, because I think having beans on hand would be awesome. Plus I want to make my my chili recipe into like a chili start in a jar. I think having all those ingredients in a jar just ready to be popped into my crock pot and just like ready to go would be awesome. I also have some scallop blend patty pan squashes. These are just a really pretty variety from Botanical Interests. I have not had good luck with squash. Majority of that is because my first year I really didn't have good pollination, and so a lot of those squash got really puny, and then they would like shrivel up and die. And that was because they weren't getting pollinated, and I didn't realize that until like the end of the season. And I think last season I didn't have good growth. So this year, hoping I can get some squash, because I love some pan-fried squash with like butter. Just so good. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm so excited for this corn. I'm excited for the garlic, and there's a lot more to come. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll go ahead and post another video up here for you to enjoy until my next upload. But until then, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.